So could there be a blue wave in Texas? That's sort of today's video, and check out the headlines. It's from Texas. Texas early voting turnout exceeds 2024 primary elections so far. So basically people are showing up. They're like, hey, I want to make my voice heard. And we're in early voting. I guess there's 1 week left in the March primaries, but as it says here, people are flocking to the polls. That's coming from the Texas Secretary of State in Dallas County. You also have this. It says Democratic early voting surges in Texas primary election, far outpacing 2022. So you're just getting big turnouts. What is this? Compared with the same point in 2022, so 4 years ago, Democratic voting, early voting, is up by roughly 11,000 ballots, while Republican turnout has increased by about 6,000. So, wow, that's pretty significant. Take a look at this. This is the local news in Texas.
Week 2 of early voting started today. Hundreds of thousands have already voted statewide on battleground Texas. A big topic was turnout. Fox 4 Stephen Dial is here from the digital studio. Stephen.
Clarice, we are halfway through early voting, and we are starting to see a trend in some of the larger counties like Dallas, Harris, and Tarrant. Democrat voters are turning out more than Republicans. Before the main event in November, both political parties have to pick their nominees.
Republicans usually outvote us 70-30, 65-35. The fact that we are ahead of them right now in early voting shows that Democrats across the state are ready to turn out and vote.
Yeah, it's probably real. Now, this is still early, right? We're talking about primaries. We'll wait till we get to the general, but it's certainly a good sign. I'd rather be on the side of more people are showing up to the polls than not. Now, I do want to show you this. Some people are reporting problems with their registration and such. Take a look at what they have to say here.
Sometimes you just got to Karen out. Sometimes you just got to go in there and say absolutely not, because guess who voted? But let me tell you something, I was not the only one in there with issues. While I was sitting there waiting for them to check on my information, which by the way, was all in there, I ended up voting normally, no provisional, no limited, none of that. It took about an hour for them to get everything straight. And while I sat there, I saw 5 other people go in there and be told the same thing that I was told from the first polling place that I went to. I don't know how it worked out for any of them because they were behind me. I ended up voting and leaving before they got to them. But let me tell you, they are actively trying to suppress people from voting. They are hoping that once they initially tell you, oh, something's wrong, you're not vote, that you'll just go home and you won't follow up. No, bitch, follow up. The information is there. We're going to have to fight for this one, guys. They are not going to make it easy.
So there may be some shenanigans that the Republicans are pulling. That's certainly a possibility. Someone else also reported an issue with this. We're talking about basically a registration issue. Listen to this one.
After I posted this yesterday, a lot of people are asking me what happened. So basically I go in there to vote like I always have throughout my whole life. This is the exact same polling place I went to in 2024 to vote. I hadn't changed my address. I haven't done anything differently than my husband. When I go to vote, they said my voter registration was in suspense. For those that don't know what this means, that means someone personally challenged my ability to vote in that county and said they had proof that I hadn't lived there. But I have over 2.5 years of proof that I have been living in this county.
And that's the thing. She was like saying she voted there before, right, a couple years ago. And it feels like, at least according to these people, that it's only affecting women. And I wonder if they're going after married women because they'll say something like you change your name or your name is different than in the past, right? That's been something that's been on the table with the Trump people where they're trying to question people's registration. And in particular, right, if you change your name in this situation, right, married voters, they may have some issues and that would largely affect women, right? So this would be a way to suppress the vote as women tend to vote more blue Democratic.
Over the past few months, I've been making a lot of critical statements over the Trump admin, and all of a sudden, I can't vote, and I have to do a provisional vote, and they tell me my vote may not count this time, and there's nothing much they can do unless a...
And then she's sort of suggesting, which you never know with this stuff, but I'll just, because we've seen this in Florida where people see something on social media, they say, oh, you don't like Trump. And then I guess in this scenario, if this is indeed the case, then your neighbor would complain or whatever, oh, blah, blah, blah. And then they'll come up with some reason why you can't vote.
Actually helps me get my voter status out of suspense. How come we're trying to do voter ID in the SAVE Act to help people vote that are actually citizens? And when a citizen with proof of residency goes to vote, all of a sudden I can't vote. Someone that is a US citizen, I've lived here my whole life. My husband was able to vote. He's made no statements on social media whatsoever. And we have the same address. We do voter registration together, but I can't vote. Tell me why. Is it because I'm a Democrat? Is it because I made statements on social media and they banned me? Because this had to be done personally. It's not just random. Someone had to manually say that I was not allowed to vote in that county. If anyone has some answers, I would love to hear them on what to do next and if my vote is actually going to count.
He's saying here, some people asked me to explain what happened when I went to vote yesterday. If you're a Democrat voting in Texas, you might want to check your voting status. She's got a sticker here, I voted, and she said here, went to vote this afternoon and found out my registration was mysteriously in suspense. So that was the status, suspense. This has never happened in my life. Now it appears after I criticized the Trump administration in the Epstein files, or for the Epstein files, crypto ventures and ICE publicly. Interesting time. Huh. And then this is a screenshot she's sharing. For those saying this is fake, here is proof of my suspense. I've been living in this county for nearly 3 years and voted in the last election for this same polling place, from the same polling place. Yeah, and I can see the suspense there. Effective data registration, so they would have registered what, 2024 back in May, so like a year ago, which, you know, that's when you would register. And then they looked up this stuff here. Someone was saying here, I saw quite a few posts just like yours yesterday from other Texans look into mass voter challenges. That's what the voter registrar just told me. I also want to mention this. This could be in various states where they may try to intimidate you for any number of reasons, right? In Arizona, this was just recently, ICE, whoever the Republicans are there, they wanted to have ICE at the polls, basically. I think that might be dead for now. This is what it says here, at least. Arizona's ICE at the polls bill is dead for now, but backers can revive it. So these are some real concerns here. Will they pull some shenanigans at the polling office if you're, married or if you post stuff on social media? Regarding ICE at the polls, there was something that came out recently that basically, we already kind of know this, though, that the ICE officers aren't really trained.
I swore an oath to uphold the Constitution when I joined ICE on August 1st, 2021, as an assistant chief counsel. I followed that oath for 4.5 years, working side by side with ICE officers. And I followed it when I resigned on February 13th, 2026, a little over a week ago, so that I could speak to you today. I am here because I am duty-bound to report the legally required training program at the ICE Academy is deficient, defective, and broken. 5 months ago, I was asked to teach the law to new cadets at the ICE Academy in Glencoe, Georgia, where ICE is training its new, inexperienced recruits. I volunteered, those without law enforcement training, I volunteered to take on this assignment based on my experience in law enforcement oversight, including at the state and local level prior to my work with ICE. On my first day, I received secretive orders to teach new cadets to violate the Constitution by entering homes without a judicial warrant. For the last 5 months, I watched ICE dismantle the training program, cutting 240 hours of vital classes from a 584-hour program. Classes that teach the Constitution, our legal system, firearms training, the use of force, lawful arrests, proper detention, and the limits of officers' authority.
And this becomes really important to understand in context is if they're pulling in sort of shenanigans, against the Constitution or, you know, secret orders or whatever, people need to come out and step forward. So this gentleman is doing so. If there's something going on in Texas and you see some irregularities, report this stuff. It's important. And that's what some people are doing on social media, but, you know, there's been people on the inside that we're going to have more information also. This is just coming out today, basically. So that's my thoughts on this. I want to hear yours. And if you're in Texas, let us know what's going on over there. And I'll catch you all in the next video.